All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Houston Texans. Folks, this team's future is so freaking money. It's so freaking money. We talked about it all off season, but nonetheless, 4 games in, 1 month into the regular season, 2-2, back-to-back victories. Today, a home domination against the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the best defenses in the National Football League. A week prior, on the road, taking down divisional rival, the Jacksonville Jaguars, 37-17. Words can't even express it. Like, genuinely. Let's start it off with a fun fact. So, Texans rookie CJ Stroud has 1,212 passing yards this season, right? We're only 4 games in. He has surpassed Andrew Luck for the second most passing yards by a player in his first 4 NFL games. Only Cam Newton has more passing yards through their first 4 NFL games than Mr. CJ Stroud. He is the second quarterback in NFL history with no interceptions in each of his first 4 NFL starts, minimum 30 attempts in each start. It's crazy. It is crazy, folks. And I know we talked about the Texans all offseason thinking, CJ Stroud's a dog. Today, the dude did a phenomenal job. 306 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Keep in mind, the Pittsburgh Steelers defense is that freaking good. I watched this full game live, and I was thinking to myself, the Pittsburgh Steelers look lost. The best part about the Pittsburgh Steelers this season is their defense. Their defense has won them football games, and Houston, with a just obliterated offensive line, injured players all across the board, they won. Not only did they win, they won in dominating fashion, 30-6 against a playoff team in the Pittsburgh Steelers. Forget about it, man. Tonight, obviously, we're talking about the Houston Texans, but before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. I get at least 1 or 2 Texans videos out every single week, so Texans fans, if we could get this video to 250 likes, that would mean the world to me. I do just want to float in there because we got basketball season a couple of, honestly, days away. Houston sports, you can't tell right now, but I'm licking my freaking chops. So CJ Stroud is a dog. The dude is literally a dog, and he's coming in here his rookie season with a just completely banged up offensive line, and he's putting up statistics. And yeah, you could be like, all right, let's take a look at the box score. 16-30, 306 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Yeah, that's solid. But if you're watching these football games, CJ Stroud is talented. I mean, very clearly the way, the drafted number 2 overall. One of the things I've really noticed is one of my buddies, we keep having this discussion, or more of an argument at this point. This guy is so enamored by Bryce Young. I look at CJ Stroud, especially as an Ohio State quarterback, and I think to myself, this guy is the definition of special. He's the definition of special. These guys put up 10 points in the first quarter, 6 points in the second quarter. You're going into halftime against the Pittsburgh Steelers, who once again have a top 10 undisputed defense in the National Football League, 16-0. You put up 14 points in the fourth quarter, so not only did they start strong, but they finished strong. And keep in mind, they had so many penalties. There were so many just stupid shoot yourself. You might as well just shoot yourself in the foot right now because it's like, what are you doing out here, right? It's a rebuilding-esque team. I don't like to use the word rebuilding. I feel like it's kind of disrespectful, so I don't want to coin that word when I'm talking about the Texans because there's something brewing. There's something very clearly brewing. We talked so much about Dameon Pierce. I'm a huge Florida Gator bandwagon football fan. Dameon Pierce is a stud. This afternoon, 24 rushes, 81 yards. But the main thing that really interests me with Houston, and we'll talk about the defense at the end of this video, is the receiving corps. This afternoon, Nico Collins, one of the players I was so enamored by. I've started him, thankfully, every single week in fantasy football. When I was running the numbers or crunching the numbers, we're in the lab in the offseason, I'm looking at Nico Collins and I'm like, why would he not be a 1,000-yard receiver this upcoming season? Nico Collins has emerged 1 month into the 2023 NFL season as a rising star in the National Football League. This afternoon, 7 catches, 168 yards, and 2 touchdowns. You also picked up Dalton Schultz via free agency from the Dallas Cowboys, 3 catches, 42 yards, and a touchdown. The thing is, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many young, emerging weapons and threats at the wide receiver core. Guys like even Dameon Pierce. He's a multifaceted running back. He can run, but he can also catch. You also picked up Robert Dobbs. That's not that player doesn't exist. Robert Woods in free agency, just a nice veteran presence, gives you some reliability, some consistency at the wide receiver position. John Mechie III. We all love, even if you're not a Texas fan, we all love John Mechie III's story. The dude is just like, it's just such a cool story. And then you also have Tank Dell. These guys feed off each other, man. Today it was Nico Collins. Next week, it's going to be Tank Dell. The week after that, hopefully it's going to be John Mechie III. These wide receivers are absolute freaking studs. But let's talk about this defense. They just held the Pittsburgh Steelers to no touchdowns. Now, if you watched this football game, obviously they were up 16-0 at halftime. Pittsburgh had nothing going pretty much at any point in the entire game. There was like a little bit of run, I guess, at the end of the third / the start of the fourth where, Najee Harris was getting some breakout pass yards and some breakout runs. I was never thinking to myself, watching this afternoon's football game, thinking Houston's going to lose this. After the first possession, when Houston puts up a touchdown, I'm thinking, I really genuinely think they have this in the bag. They were all over the offensive line. They dominated defensive trenches and they dominated offensive trenches, which is just like so crazy because of how injured they are offensively on the offensive line. But defensively, don't look at like 3 sacks is impressive. 3 sacks in a game as a team is impressive. This team was all over Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett pretty much at no point in the entire game had more than a couple of seconds to throw that football. He was running, he was scrambling, he was fighting for his life. Kenny Pickett tonight, and I'm a pretty big Pittsburgh Steelers enthusiast, so I hate to say it, Kenny Pickett was desperate. The Pittsburgh Steelers offense tonight or this afternoon was extremely desperate. The Houston Texans had 2 forced fumbles. They had that interception. They had 3 total sacks. The defense gave up 6 points. They gave up 6 points. And then we also don't want to talk. I don't say we don't want to talk about it. The NFL doesn't want to talk about the week before, week 3. Victory on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars, the undisputed champions of this division before the season starts, right? Everybody coined the Jacksonville Jaguars as the winner of the division before the season started. Oh, they're looking at 12 wins, 13 wins. I think Jacksonville's a good team. Houston obliterated them 1 week ago. This is a legitimate football team. You're coming up the next 2 weeks. You got Atlanta, you've got New Orleans, and then you've got your bye week, and then you've got Carolina and Tampa Bay. Like, Houston could extremely easily be 6-2 1 month from now, but they're probably going to be 5-3. This could actually be a legitimate playoff football team. They're so ahead of schedule. It's crazy, man. I love to see it, especially if you guys don't know, like the origination of this channel. I started covering the Houston Rockets about 3 years ago. So I love it for my Houston fans. I absolutely love it, and I know you guys are too. So hit that like button, hit that sub button if you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to stay tuned for more Texans videos. But guys, the most important part of this video, give me a team grade on the Houston Texans from this afternoon's victory. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your weekend, and we will see you